Night Football. Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdowns, and he and the offense seemed to get back on track, but it was the defense that put up their best performance of the season, holding the Raiders to just 16 points. Troy Aikman, former Cowboy, likes what he saw and says the Cowboys maybe have a chance now with this improved defense.
They're better on defense. I mean, you put Quinnen Williams on your defense, you're going to be better. This defense is, if they just get to the middle of the pack, they can go out and they can compete against Philadelphia and Kansas City and Detroit in those games, regardless of where they're being played at. They could certainly get on you got to look at they got to get to 10 wins is what you've got to look at, and they don't have any margin for error. So this was a game they obviously had to win, and they got to win next week against Philadelphia.
So very small margin for error. With that win, the Cowboys now have a 7% chance to make the postseason, according to ESPN Analytics. That ranks 10th out of 16 NFC teams. The Cowboys have the 6th hardest remaining schedule, according to our analytics. Dallas' next 2 games are at home against last year's Super Bowl champs in the Eagles and then against the Chiefs. But if we had to put a percentage on it, what percent chance do you give the Cowboys now, Stephen A., to make the postseason?
You know what? I'll give them like a 10-15% chance.
Oh, that's good.
I would.
Generous.
There's a chance.
I'm in a very generous mood. You know what I'm saying? But fluid. It's here today.
That's enough.
The truth of this is, this is the Stephen A. setup. All for the Cowboys fans.
Me?
You know what?
Never that.
Maybe I'll give them a 20% chance. I like what they did. I like the additions on defense. He's trying to give them hope. Oh, he loves to give them hope. You know, he always wants week 15, 16 to be something like everybody's watching for. Then he puts the hat and the cigar on, and that ain't good. That ain't good for the Cowboys
So
fans.
what you're saying is he wants to prop them up so it's
Stand them up, fall down.
Well, I do prefer them falling off of roofs instead of curves. I will admit that. I will admit that. But listen. To me, it comes down. I'm just looking at their schedule here, right? You got the bye. Listen, you just beat the Raiders, okay? The next 3 games are pivotal. You need to win.
For sure.
You need to win 2 of them. Yeah. Okay?
And then, 2 of the 3 are at home, which is huge.
And by the way, you need to beat Minnesota and the Chargers on your home turf thereafter.
Yep.
So you're talking about, I'm basically saying, the only way I give the Cowboys a shot is if they win 4 of the next 5 games. Now, can they do it? I think it's highly unlikely that you're going to win 2 of the next 3, Philly, Kansas City, Detroit. I think they're losing 2 of those games. I definitely think they're losing on the road in Detroit. And I think whether it's at Philly at home or Kansas City at home, one of them are going to get the Cowboys on the Cowboys' home turf. If I'm wrong about that, and the Cowboys win 2 or 3, or dare I say they win all 3 of those games, and then you talk about them beating Minnesota and the Chargers, which they should be able to do, quite honestly, on their home turf. You got something. Yeah. And that's how I'm looking at it. So their offense is their offense. We all know it's prolific. It's a Super Bowl caliber offense. Defensively, I got to see it to believe it, but Quinnen Williams is no doubt an additive. Kenny Clark being there, an additive. Overshown being back, an additive. Deron Bland being back, an additive. We see them.
Yeah. Logan
Wilson too, a good addition. You looking at them, they got some pieces, and you the 31st ranked defense. You should be able to trim that down. You should be able to come down the middle of the pack. You do that, got a chance.
You know what's funny for me is when I look at teams like the Cowboys and being an offensive guy, as good as their offense is, I know that defenses are what keep you in, especially this time of the year. And so it makes it hard for me to say I would give them a true chance in the playoffs just because defenses gotta play. Like the reason I like the Eagles isn't because of their offense. I'm not afraid. It's because their defense.
No doubt.
The reason that you think the Seahawks, even though they just lose to them, have still got a great because their defense. The reason the Broncos, even with Bo Nix, who might struggle because of their defense. Now you flip it over and go, I can go score 30. Well, when you go play them defenses, you don't score 30 anymore, right? Like everybody thought that the Eagles don't give a bunch of points to Green Bay and Detroit. They don't. Like at some point, your defense has got to be the calling card, and that's where I think for the Cowboys, it's hard for me to give them more than I gave them 0 a few weeks ago with the trades. I might give them a 5-10% chance just if they get hot, right? Because their offense can't score, but their defense has got to get significantly better for me to really buy.
Yeah, I give them 0% chance of being able to get to the playoffs. They're not getting to the playoffs. But it ain't about this year, though, Joe.
I agree with
that.
And
I guess that's the point, right? Because you listed the next 3 opponents. You got the Eagles and the Chiefs at home on Turkey Day, and then you got the Detroit Lions. I want to see the Dallas Cowboys develop a style of play that allows them to be competitive against them people. Because guess what? They ain't going nowhere. Those teams going to be around.
Right.
And so if the Cowboys want to get to where they want to go with their $60 million a year quarterback, they're going to have to form an identity, create a foundation that allows you to compete against those teams.
Yes.
And what I saw last night against the Raiders gives me a little bit of hope for the future for the Dallas Cowboys. Because in the words of my good friend Mel Kiper, if you can't block them, you can't beat them.
Amen.
Well, guess what? The Dallas Cowboys up front now, they can block them and they can beat blocks.
Amen.
And that makes you so much tougher to beat.
Yep.
So if they can continue on that trend on the defensive side of the ball, then all of a sudden, Micah Parsons being traded from Jerry's world, from the Dallas Cowboys, ends up retroactively being the right decision for these Dallas Cowboys in terms of how they're built.
I could be wrong because I don't have all the schedules in front of me, but I will say this. The reason why I think they got a chance is because of the games that they couldn't win. Could they get to 10 wins?
Right.
Okay? So you're asking yourself that question. That's basically winning 6 of your last 8 games.
Right.
So we got that out the way. Now, you did lose to Carolina. That's going to hold against you, and they got an edge on you. You did lose to Chicago. That's going to count against you.
Right.
Doesn't look as bad as it did earlier in the season.
That's true.
Right.
What I'm saying, however, is that all of those teams have to beat up on one another in pursuit of their own division supremacy as well. The West, the North, they all got to play each other.
Yeah, and you need them to really, you need somebody,
so somebody's going to
stumble, you need Seattle to stumble.
But somebody's going to
stumble.
But I know that, but what I'm saying is somebody's going to stumble because they're playing each other.
That's right.
And because they're playing each other, you're going to see teams falling off.
Agreed.
And that's what I'm thinking. That's where the 10% comes from.
I just can't believe I heard you say that Jerry Jones made the right decision in trading Micah Parsons.
It did.
But
the timing of it wasn't right.
Right.
Okay.
Don't want to do it on the eve of the season.
But why did he make the right decision?
He made the right decision because guess what?
The pieces and parts he's building.
The piecing the parts that he's putting together, it actually fits together better. Their defense now has a chance because you can stop the run.
We say this all the time.
That's what he said.
When you build it from the inside out, offense and defensive lines, linebackers, safety, like as you go in the internal portion of a football team, that's where the strength is. If you look at the Cowboys, to your point, they are positioned and poised to be much better in the future because of the Kenny Clark, Williams inside, absolute beast. Logan Wilson, Overshown. Now, Overshown's still banged up. Like, you saw him last night. He's still hurt. He's playing through it. But when all that happens, and you looked at internal with Williams, the running back, and then you got Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Ferguson, all of a sudden you look and go, man, we got a squad. We got a squad. But they had to do those things and got the right pieces at the end.
Jerry said to me, you know what? Watch the pieces. Look at the pieces we accumulate, Stephen. We think this is going to